Did you know that even with all this ice and snow still on the ground, there's still something that you can do that means you'll get even more from your garden this year? I'm Zorab and this is Byther Farm. This video is sponsored by Skillshare and we'll come back to them in a little while. So one of the things that I like to do in the winter months is to do some learning, and not necessarily the obvious learning about the garden. So one year I studied the basics of permaculture, and another year I did an in-depth look at food forests and how to put them together appropriate for the climate that we live in. Last year I learnt about creating living willow structures and then made this fence around this wildlife pond, and I do need to come in and use more of what I learnt to thread these bits through and make it a more solid fence. It's a living fence, and this year I want to learn tree grafting. Now, a grafted tree is one that has roots, a root stock at the bottom, so that's the roots and a piece of the tree, and then there's another tree sort of fixed onto it, and you see it really often with fruit trees. And the reason for that is that the rootstock will determine how large or small the tree will get, and then the piece grafted onto it will give you the variety of your tree. In the orchard here we've got, I don't know, 30 trees or something like that. There will be more, but so far this is how many I've got. It's very obvious on this tree, the root part is here, and the top part that's been grafted onto it here, and there's a big kind of knobbly bit in the middle where it's joined. And I want to learn how to do that. I need to do a course. I need someone who knows how to do this and is skilled at doing it to show me. And so I'm actually holding a course here on site on March the 26th. Now, I'll be hosting it, but the course leader will be Stephen Watts, who is an absolute expert in grafting fruit trees. And spaces are very limited on that course, so I'll leave a link on the screen and the video description for if you are interested in joining us. But as well as doing one practical course every year, I quite like to do something that shows me the theory or the reasoning behind, or really gives me something to think about, something that is going to help me in a slightly different way. And so I've joined Skillshare along with thousands of other members. I've been learning all sorts of things, and the thing that has really appealed to me has been looking at some of the photography courses. One of those courses that I've really been enjoying is called iPhone Photography, how to take pro photos on your iPhone. And the course is by a guy called Dale McManus. Then thinking about how I can translate the information I have about photography into the garden. Not only the composition, but what story do I want to tell in a photograph, and therefore what story do I want to tell in a group of planting or an area within the garden. It's been really useful and really helpful as a tool to get me imagining and thinking more and more about the garden and how I'm going to enjoy it this year. Skillshare are offering a 1 month free trial when you use my link. It's on the screen and I'll leave it in the video description as well. And the first 1,000 people who sign up using that will get that 1 month free trial. So you can try out any of their courses, you can find the same ones that I've been doing. There are all sorts of creative courses and things that can really enrich these cold, dark days of winter. Now, I don't hide that I really struggle in the winter. I have SAD, I get very low, and I need something to keep me going. Now, on days like today, when the sun comes out and it's reflecting off the snow, it's very bright actually, it's a little bit dazzling, but it's just about warm enough to be out here and really appreciate the garden. And so whenever I can, I will come out and have a look at what's going on. You know, the roses here, which have been frosted and are completely mushed by the cold. These poor old petals are just brown and squishy inside. But what I am seeing amongst kind of all this, what looks like dead stuff, is there are some signs of life. So spring bulbs are starting to push through the snow, and even things like snowdrops are just starting to form flower buds. So there is plenty going on. There's plenty to remind me that it won't be too long before we can get back out into the garden every day and be enjoying our space. Mr. J is a postman, so he is out in all weathers, but I am very much a fair weather gardener, and so I have to remind myself to come out and to take in this beautiful sunlight and to enjoy the framework of the garden as it is right now. And for that to become a habit has been another learning process. And look at this, if I hadn't come out today, I wouldn't have spotted that this purple sprouting broccoli is very definitely starting to flower, which means that it won't be very long before I can take the top out, and then there will be more shoots coming around the side, and we'll have a really nice harvest from those. So I think there's something really special in these colder late winter, early spring months where we can find a balance of spending some time outside, getting some fresh air, looking at our gardens. And we can spend the rest of the time cozied up inside. And we can use that time inside to nourish ourselves, to tap into some creativity and to really enjoy our time. And so once again, thanks to Skillshare for sponsoring this video. And if you want to try that 1 month free trial, use the link that's on the screen and in the video description.